Hey, we live yet? I think we might be live. I think so. I see the button in the upper right-hand corner that says we're live, so I hope so. And if you folks want to join us and ask any questions about real estate exam, very happy to help you with your real estate exam prep. My name is Jack Gailey from Gately Academy. I also own 3 real estate schools here in Massachusetts, and I'm joining you here from my home studio in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So thank you very much for coming. This is our ever live stream, third ever live stream, and I'm not sure how this is going to go. We'll see if we actually get guests to the live stream. I know when we did the webinar on Monday, we actually had quite a few folks that were watching in real time. So we'll see if this YouTube version of it works at all. I did it the other day, yesterday, and well, I was the only one there. So we'll hopefully now to be clear, yesterday I didn't give anybody an advance warning, but I did give an advance warning tonight, and I was hoping that we'd have a couple of people here so I could answer any questions that you might have for exam prep. What did I do today? We'll see if there's a moment or two while some folks might join the show. Today I had a showing here in Plymouth near the airport, and that was at 9 o'clock. And then I headed over to Fall River, did some time at a Starbucks where I banged out a bunch of emails and made some phone calls. And then I had an appraisal at 1 o'clock. So I thought it might be helpful just to share with you a little bit about my day and maybe some lessons that you folks could take advantage of when you get out there as an agent. And I thought it might be great to kind of know the etiquette of how to behave as an agent during a home inspection and or an appraisal. And if we do have folks that join us in the live stream, then we'll take your questions about exam prep. But until then, we'll cover how to behave at an appraisal or in a home inspection. So today we had an appraisal. First off, number one rule, always be on time. Always be on time. So the appraisal was at 1. I was there at 12:45. And the appraiser was a few minutes late. So as to be expected, that's just you got to book that into your kind of schedule. They're probably going to be running late. He was very quick though. He was not at the property very long. So even though he ran late, it was a quick thing and it was no big deal. I booked like a half an hour for an appraisal of a 3-family home, and we were all out of there like by 1:25. So it all worked out just fine. An appraisal is typically going to take you like a half an hour for the most part. Now, way it works around here is the appraiser is going to contact the listing agent directly. You'd be really well served to do anything you can to make it to the property when the appraiser wants to do the appraisal. I know a lot of appraisers out there. I actually didn't know this particular one, but I know a lot of appraisers, and they tend to like you to be there at the appraisal. If you just give them the lockbox code and say, hey, knock yourself out, that's not getting off on the right foot. So make every possible effort to make sure that you as an agent or somebody else from your office is there to meet the appraiser and to let them into the property and be there on time. Other than that, for the most part, your job is pretty much just to kind of help if they have a question. If they have a question, they might ask for a copy of the purchase and sales agreement, which is fine, no problem at all. Send that along to them, preferably in advance if you can. But other than that, have a seat at the kitchen counter. Say, hey, I'm here. If you have any questions, just give me a holler. If there has been some type of improvement to the property, especially if it was sold recently, if it was sold in like last year or something, and there've been a number of improvements that would make the valuation significantly higher than when it was purchased a year ago, share that with the appraiser. Otherwise, my big strategy is to kind of be really low key with the appraiser. So, I think you get more with honey than you do with a stick. Remember, they have valued boatloads more properties than you have, and they've also seen every pushy real estate agent under the sun. So I think it's better to play against type in that in that regard. Sit at the kitchen counter, let them know that you're there if you can help, and I think in the end you'll do much better. Um, in most appraisals, although this did not happen today, in most appraisals, they're going to let you know if they are having trouble justifying the agreed upon price. Remember now, the appraisal must come in at or above the agreed upon price. Ooh, that sounds like the start of a really good math question, doesn't it? And if they're having trouble justifying that price because they have that price because you gave them the purchase and sale agreement, then they'll probably let you know. In most situations, I either prefer to hear like nothing from them, or maybe at the end of the appointment, they'll say, oh, yeah, no problem. We'll get this over to you. If they start asking questions like, what did you use for comps? And have you seen any other properties that are at this value? They start asking for that. Ooh, now you're in trouble. And yeah, because it sounds like the appraisal is not going to be justified, or excuse me, the agreed upon price is not going to be justified. Then you gotta then you gotta kick it into gear and start to explain the differences and whatnot. And every once in a while, you'll get an appraiser who has like no experience with that particular type of property or with that particular general neighborhood or whatever, and you might have to kind of clue them in a little bit. Uh, be nice about that, be persuasive, have your facts, but don't be pushy about it. Don't be obnoxious. And that's kind of your role at the appraisal. Low key, unless they ask you for something, and otherwise be on time. Critically important. Now, home inspection. Home inspection is another thing altogether, and there's two possible roles for an agent at a home inspection. First, if you represent the list agent. If you represent the list agent, be there on time, let them into the property, and sit at the kitchen counter. Very much like working with an appraiser. Other than that, you're not going to do much. It's not your job to follow around with the home inspector and keep on pointing things out that the home inspector finds wrong, and you tell oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. And don't do that. That's not your job. Your job is to sit there at the kitchen counter, pull up the Wi-Fi from your client's Wi-Fi because you're representing that. It's a good tip, actually. Whenever you sell a house, get the Wi-Fi password there. You're going to be there a couple of times, open houses and everything. And get the Wi-Fi password so you can get some work done. You'll have some downtime on any house that you sell, waiting for like home inspectors and stuff. So having said that, it's not your role to be like the pushy, looking over everybody's shoulder type of thing during the home inspection. If you're the list agent, if you represent the buyer, then you should be playing a back seat, but a little bit more active. Remember, this is now the time for the home inspector to shine. And if you represent the buyer, you and the home inspector are on the same page or on the same team with the buyer. So the buyer, the home inspector, and the buyer's agent are all on the same team together. And it would be much more appropriate to kind of tag along with the home inspector, kind of staying out of their way a little bit, but definitely observing what they're noticing, because you're going to want to be able to feed some of this information back so that you can negotiate possibly a better price after the home inspection. That would be very common. And having that additional vocabulary or the additional knowledge that the home inspector that you can learn face to face with the home inspector rather than just reading it out of a report is a little bit better. And there could be some times where the home inspector underplays something or overplays something, and you want to be able to answer questions from your client as well. So if you're a buyer's agent, a little bit more active role, but still it's the home inspector's chance to shine. So just kind of, food for thought when you get out there in the wild as a real estate agent. Things to think about and how to conduct yourself. You might have noticed that every single time I said, be on time, be on time. I learned that the hard way. And this is very rare for me, but I actually missed an appointment on Tuesday morning. I had an appointment on Tuesday morning and I just totally forgot about it. And I was able to book it for this morning at 9. So that was nice. So, hey, If anybody has a question, that would be great. Otherwise, I don't actually see anybody in the live chat. That's an interesting feature. You have the live chat and nobody shows up. But this is totally an experimental thing for me. I've never considered going live on YouTube, and never really was sure if there would be anybody that would show up for the live chat. But I guess not tonight. So, hey, thank you so much. I hope that you get to watch this video again and learn about how to behave as a agent with either an appraisal or a home inspector. And if you have any questions about real estate school content, exam prep, I'd be glad to help out. We'll be back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. That'll be Thursday at 7 p.m. Have a great night. Bye-bye.